What's up guys, my name is Ace, and since the most recent gun balancing update that happened last week, or about a week and a half ago now, tons of people have been asking me, what is your new favorite Vesper class, and what is your new Man of War class that you use? So I'm going to be covering those today. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so first up, as always, with any one of the class setup videos I do, these are the classes that have been working for me, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend just copying and pasting everything, because everybody's playstyle is a little bit different, and something that works for me might not work out so well for you, or maybe there's something on your class that you need more than I do based on your playstyle. So first up, we have the Vesper, which got a pretty noticeable buff. It only got a slight recoil reduction, or at least that's what the stats say, but it does feel very, very noticeable to me. So what I like to do with the Vesper is just stack up on attachments. I don't really care too much about perks here, although Scavenger is very, very important, as well as Fast Hands. Fast Hands is something that I use on every single class, because if you're rushing around and you get caught sprinting, which does happen when you're being aggressive and rushing around, you want to be able to snap onto your target as fast as possible. So for attachments on my Vesper, I have extended mags as well as fast mags, which is an interesting combination I'll talk about in a second. And then I have grip and quick draw. So quick draw is something, again, just like fast hands, I don't really get onto the battlefield without quick draw. I just feel like it's so important to be that first person on target and putting shots on your target. And therefore quick draw is pretty much a must for me. And next we have grip. Now the recoil reduction on the Vesper was fairly noticeable, and it is very controllable now. You still have to have that little bit of recoil control where you pull down slightly on the right analog stick when you start to get out to those mid to longer ranges. But with grip, I find it just makes this thing almost into a laser beam. So grip is highly, highly recommended still. And then fast mags as well as extended mags. A lot of people might think this is overkill, and maybe it is a little bit, but I really like that I can comfortably kill usually at least 3 enemies with a single magazine with extended mags, as long as I'm being decently accurate. Because this gun, you do miss a lot of shots, you're going to be spraying around a little bit, and I find without extended mags, killing any more than 2 enemies just doesn't happen very often. So this is why I really like having extended mags on there, but then also, you burn through that ammo so quickly, you burn through the magazine so quickly. I find fast mags is also very, very important to have on this gun. You could just choose one or the other, but by combining them, I can constantly stay in the fight, in the action, and just dominate everybody. So that's why I like to stack up on attachments for this one. So that's the Vesper class I've been using and really enjoying lately. Now let's move on to the Man of War class. Now the Man of War, the nerfs that happened to the Man of War, a lot of people thought it got buffed. This is not true, it got nerfed. And the first nerf that happened is its aim down sight time was decreased. So therefore it aims down sight slower, and quick draw is even more valuable than it was before on there. I already would have recommended quick draw on the Man of War no matter what, because it already was the slowest aiming down sight assault rifle. But now if you don't put quick draw on there, in my opinion, you're doing it wrong. So it's pretty much a must have with the Man of War. Also fast mags. The reason I put fast mags on there is they slowed the reload time pretty significantly as well. It reloads in like 2.7 seconds as a base reload time, which is really, really long. So I find having fast mags on there is pretty much a must-have once again on the Man of War. Next, I put a boa on there because I didn't want to spend another attachment on a foregrip. And the Man of War's recoil, while it is relatively controllable, like it doesn't kick super high or anything, it's a bit unpredictable, and I feel like you need something to reduce that recoil slightly when you start to get to those longer range gunfights. And I chose to use the boa sight here because it increases your center speed, which does make you a little bit more accurate. And it means that I don't really need to have that foregrip on there as well, which frees up another attachment slot, which I use on stock. I like being able to strafe in gunfights a little bit with the Man of War. I've been using it a lot more lately on some of my assault rifles, and I have noticed a little bit of a difference. It's not quite as powerful as it is on SMGs, but it's still something that does help, I find. Next, we have just a concussion grenade. That's just basically because I had an extra point, and I would always recommend if you have that extra point available, pop on a concussion grenade or something along those lines. And then we've got flak jacket, fast hands, and tac mask. Those ones are pretty straightforward. Fast hands, like I said, never leave home without it. Flak jacket, again, this is more so for like objective game modes is what I tend to use it as. The Vesper class, I didn't really need flak jacket because you're so mobile, you're going to be moving around, you're in the enemy's face so much that usually you don't have to deal with explosives. Whereas this one, you're going to be playing a little bit more defensively, and therefore it's pretty common that people are going to be throwing grenades and stuff at you. So I like having flak jacket on here, and the same thing goes with tactical mask. It's the same sort of idea. You're typically going to be hanging back a little bit. You don't have to be a camper or anything with this class, but you might be set up on a piece of cover or something, and people are going to try to stun you. So having Tac Mask is very, very helpful on this class. So there we have it. That's going to wrap it up for today's relatively quick video. I know it wasn't too much going on here, but tons of people have been requesting this, and I really wanted to share these two classes with you today. I'd like to know in the comment section below, what changes would you make to these classes if you're going to be using the Vesper or the Man of War post-patch? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.